Right, this is game 2, round 3. This is the second game between RadioWaves and InferGnome. Here we have, so I'll introduce the players, I suppose. RadioWaves in the left here, and in the right, InferGnome playing Zerg. What's going on? World tipped upside down. Are you kidding me? Okay, one thing I noticed from game 1, and that pleases me a great deal, is that from the first round both of these players have improved substantially. And that's what it's all about. That's why I really enjoy this EMS tournament, because I see a bunch of players that have never played the game before get into it, and after a few rounds, a little bit of practice, I see huge improvement in the way they're playing. I see strategies start to form. I see them start to appreciate the complexity of this game. Which is fantastic. So I will be interested to see what InferGnome does as a Zerg player. I am curious about this indeed. Just before I go any further, I have to give a shout out to the Australian Massive. Who knew, but I was looking at YouTube the other day, and it turns out I can get all sorts of analytics on everything about the people that watch these videos, and I have got a subscriber in Australia, an actual Aussie, watching these videos from halfway across the world, and that pleases me a great deal. These two overlords just passing by each other, so if I think InferGnome probably played Zerg, but potentially they played random. If that was the case, RadioWaves will now know what race he is up against, and these two are on their way across the map to each other. So yeah, I don't know who you are, Australian person, but I appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoy these games. It's worth noting that if you are a Zerg player and you're against a Zerg on a map like this where it's relatively close, you can quite safely send your overlord across your opponent's base, and they are very unlikely to be able to kill it. Now, do note that when the queen comes out, it will have at an overlord, but you should be able to get in here, have a peek, and get out. The queen can move pretty quickly on creep, but off creep grinds to a halt. Don't want to go too deep with this overlord. If you're against a Protoss, the same goes. You can pretty much fly your overlord right across a Protoss base, because the first thing that Protoss gets out that can shoot up is a stalker. The mothership core, to be honest, you might have a mothership core out reasonably early, but you'll probably get an overlord there first. And even if you don't, I don't know, as a Protoss player, would you use an overcharge to kill an overlord? I think you might actually. Anyway, we're about to see what happens here. If I take a quick look at the army tab, we notice that both of these players have built a bunch of lings. RadioWaves hoping to do some early damage. InferGnome needs to react. You need to get these lings involved. The lings together with the queen will very easily see this off. Because the additional damage from that queen will make sure that you don't lose any workers whatsoever. And if we look at the workers lost tab, that is exactly what's happened. RadioWaves has lost those 8 lings, InferGnome has not. Now InferGnome, what are you going to do about that advantage? Both of you have sacrificed drones in order to get lings out. The lings from RadioWaves are now lost. However, RadioWaves has managed to saturate the men, and InferGnome has not. Is that just extra experience playing as a Zerg player, or is it because InferGnome has built extra lings? I don't think that is the case. No, isn't the case. So there is now another batch of lings coming out for RadioWaves. If we look at the upgrades tab, we can see that RadioWaves does indeed have metabolic boost, which is the speed upgrade for lings. Now these fast lings will make mincemeat out of slow lings. These lings need to retreat to the cover of a queen. They will not be able to stand against these speed lings. The speed lings will tear them down very, very quickly indeed. Again, if we look at the unit skill tab, we can see how much that last engagement was in favour of RadioWaves. This InferGnome, you need to react to this. You need to react fast. Oh, there's the queen. Parked on the ramp. One queen on its own cannot block a ramp. You need 2 queens for that. So this queen needs to run. The other thing you need to do is drop a spine crawler here. You know your opponent is pushing hard with numbers of lings. You don't have worker saturation yet, but you do have a lot of money, so you don't really need to worry about building more workers. But what you do need to be able to do is see this off as a typical defense. If you are playing Zerg and you think your opponent is going Ling, Benleys are what work incredibly well against Lings. So we have InferGnome with lots of more Lings in production. This queen pops out and doesn't, unfortunately, do anything, just gets mauled. InferGnome, please don't let this hatchery die. You've got more. Look, there's only 4 Lings here killing it. There's only 3 Lings killing it. Don't let them kill it. You've got more than enough to see this off. So this hatchery took a lot more damage than it needed to, really. I'm not entirely sure the purpose behind hiding these Lings. So finally, metabolic boost in production. I noticed previously that pneumatized or pneumaticized, or whatever the word is, fast overlords was researched, and I'm not really sure why. If we saw an Evo chamber come down, well then I'd say that you were probably going to go for some sort of drop play, but without an evolution chamber you cannot upgrade an overlord so that they can carry units. These overlords a bit randomly positioned, aren't they? I don't know about that. If I'm RadioWaves, I think I'm going to send a queen down to try and kill one of those. Maybe. Yeah, who knows? So RadioWaves looks to have the advantage at this stage. If we look income wise, there's a clear mineral advantage, but a gas disadvantage. So what are you going to be spending this gas on, InferGnome? You're mining for a bit of a slightly asymmetric business going on there. But that's okay. You've got a reasonable stash of gas, but you don't have really at this stage any means to spend it. The Roach Warren does come down. Now RadioWaves has already got a Roach Warren. Let's have a quick peek at the army supply. Dead even, but there are roaches in the mix for RadioWaves, and roaches fare very well indeed against Lings. Look at this, just squirting off a random corrosive bile. Those corrosive biles can be devastating against numbers of Lings because they do splash, but this Ravager is not shooting, and it's also very, very weak indeed, so it will fall quickly. Now, these roaches will trade very well against Lings. They will fall eventually, but they will do a reasonable amount of damage. Oh, and Burrow finishes up, and RadioWaves just burrows them. What are you going to do about that, InferGnome? Do you realise that they're burrowed? Do you realise that they're actually still there? I'm not sure that you do. Okay. What's going on? Army supply is still pretty even. Units killed, pretty even. The mineral income is still out in front for RadioWaves. In the production tab, 1 worker building here. This queen needs to be spitting on the hatchery, and this queen needs to be spitting on this hatchery. And oh, more than anything else, these workers need to be mining. Look, oh, this is painful to watch. This hatchery has, the rally point for the hatch has been misclicked, and these workers that are coming out are not mining. So you've got some money in the bank, InferGnome. You need to build really rapidly a quick round of workers. If you're concerned about your opponent coming to have another aggressive push, well, a spine crawler, just the ticket, that is a sensible thing, but you need to get these workers mining. You need to spot this. Meanwhile, RadioWaves has got a third base down. Look how busy RadioWaves is in comparison to InferGnome. Roaches finally coming out, and so we will see this gas start to go down. But to be honest, roaches don't cost that much gas, and you will need a significant amount of minerals. Bear in mind, roaches are not very expensive for minerals, but they do cost 2 supply, and you find if you're in roach production early in the game that more than anything else you tend to get supply blocked, and you need to build, for every sort of 4 roaches you need to build an overlord, so that bumps up the effective price of them quite substantially. To build overlords, to build those roaches, you need minerals, InferGnome, and you're not mining with these workers. Please make it stop. Okay, what's going on? You haven't saturated your men. You don't have any drones in production. Come on, InferGnome, you can do this. I like the spine crawler. I wouldn't mind seeing another one. RadioWaves, are you teching up? You are. You're building hydras. You're researching hydra speed. It is all going on. Sorry, you're not researching hydra speed. You're searching hydra range. Which is fine. I mean, typically the first thing, for me anyway, the first thing I'd research would tend to be speed. but it doesn't matter. It's actually less important when you're playing against a Zerg, because there's a pretty good chance that any engagement you have will be on creep. Hydras are pretty slow off creep without that upgrade. So a third is coming down for InferGnome. This position is just weird. I would be fine with this position if it wasn't for the fact that it's right under one of your opponent's overlords. You know, I'd say, yeah, sneaky expand in the corner, great, I love a sneaky expand. But, you know, if your opponent's got an overlord parked there, it's not so sneaky. They see all, and I have no doubt that that's where these lings are off to deny this. And at present, InferGnome, you do not have the army to keep this alive. So that's definitely a mistake. Let's see what's going on in here. You know, even with that, oh, I don't know about moving out. Yeah, if you know this is being attacked, by all means send a bunch of lings across to your opponent's base and try and get some damage done. But don't take this on open ground, because you can't, you know, take up a defensive posture here with the roaches at the back, possibly park the lings somewhere so that they can come in and get a surround from behind. But you don't want to be fighting this army head-to-head in open ground. So, army supply very much in favour of RadioWaves. I don't think InferGnome can hold this map. I think the move out was definitely a fatal error that is going to cost it again. These are 1-1 Hydras. That DPS is ridiculous. They will kill everything on the screen in about 2 shots, right? These Hydras aren't broken at all. So I think we're going to see all of this die. If only you had some Binlings, that would be great. Binlings do well against Hydras. Hydras are not armoured, in fact quite the opposite, they are light. So Binlings can do devastating damage to groups of Hydras like this. But you don't have any. So this game is over. So yeah, mistakes were made by InferGnome. However, I did like the standard of play. RadioWaves definitely macroing up well, up to 3 bases, building a varied army, teching up. InferGnome, you know, also teching up, going up to roaches, expanding. These are the types of things. This is the stuff of StarCraft. So very, very pleased to see these players improve. Yeah, man. However, it is RadioWaves that goes through with a 2-0. GG, man.